Hi families, I'm Mrs. Zealy. I'm one of the reading teachers, and your child is in a reading intervention program called SIPPS. And in this program, they're learning different phonics skills, and they'll be practicing those skills in a story every lesson. So this story will come home with them for extra reading practice at home. And I just wanted to make a video to give you some different ideas of what you can do with these stories at home. So, well, to start off, very simply, reading it. Over and over, repeated practice, having them read the story out loud to you is the number one goal. Some other activities that you can do with this is you can practice their phonics. So you can ask them about what kinds of sounds they're learning about in school or in their lessons, and they can highlight or color in words that have those sounds. For example, in this story, let's see, I'm trying to look. Some of the words that they've been learning all of the short vowel words. So in this story, I'm looking at, there's a lot of words that have the short a in it. So I could start there. I could decide that all of the short a words are going to be colored yellow. So here I'm just kind of making a key at the top, and all of the short a words I'm going to color yellow in the story. So now I could go through the story. I'm gonna angle this down so you can kind of see what I'm doing. So I could go through the story, and as they read the story, they can color in the words that have that phonics skill, that short A. So Jack had a wish for gold. So Jack and had both had the A sound, so they colored those. I want to fill my hat, that has the A sound, with gold, he said. So he put on his hat and also has that A sound, and off he went. So this is kind of what it looks like if I've colored in all of the short A words. Now these are sounds your child should know because they're learning them in class. Another thing that they can do is they can go through and circle sight words they've learned. So as I'm looking through this story in those same couple sentences, gold was one of our sight words. Said was a sight word. Taking a look here. I see lots of saids and golds, so I'm going to circle those again. They is a sight word. So as they're reading it, they can circle sight words that they recognize. You can kind of see it there. So those are a couple options. I can pick different phonics skills, different sounds to highlight. I can circle sight words. Another activity that you can do with this is practice for fluency, and that would be timing them to see how long it takes them to read. Now there's a couple ways you could do it. We do 1-minute timings in class when we assess students. So we have them read out loud for us for 1 minute, and then we mark how far in the story they got. You could do that as well. It would be very important that they read all the words correctly though. So the goal isn't speed reading, it's reading fluently like they're telling a story. So we don't want them to go too fast because then that's not really fluent reading either. The other thing you could do is have them read the whole story front and back and time how long it takes to do the whole story. You could take turns reading. You could have them read a sentence, then you read a sentence and switch off after every other sentence. That's a great way to practice where sentences end and where we would naturally take breaks and pauses in our reading. And then you could also use this for spelling work if you wanted. So you could take words that are in the story, and especially if they've highlighted some of those phonics patterns, like the short A that we just had. And then you could take, I just have simple note cards here. You can take a note card or anything you have at home, and you could write those words. So I'm just writing the ones I highlighted. So here's Jack hat. And I could do this with the sight words too. So you could just make some note cards here and have them practice reading them. So you could show them a card, they would read it. Switch, show them the next card, they would read it. Another thing you can do is have them practice spelling the words. So now I can take the words I just wrote on note cards, or I can just look in the story. These are decodable stories, so most of the words will either be sight words that they've learned or words that they can sound out. That's what decodable means. They can sound out the word. So I could say, write Jack. So then they would sound out J, A, K. Now they might need a reminder on what kind of K, because there's different ways you can spell certain things. Then I might say, write the word hat. I'm looking in the story, finding a word that we've highlighted. So they would go, at, hat. You could do sight words. You know, the sight word is said. Write the word sight word. Or write the word said. S-A-I-D. For sight words, we just spell them because a lot of them you can't sound out. Sight words might be harder for them to spell. So they might need a little more practice with those. And then the last thing, another thing you could do is you could take a simple sentence from the story. So I'm looking here. I'm just looking at the very first sentence. Jack had a wish for gold. So you could dictate that sentence to them and have them practice writing it. So for this, I'm just going to switch to a different page. And the first thing we usually do with sentences in the classroom when we're writing is we give them a visual reminder to help remember what the sentence is. So what that looks like is we draw boxes. Jack had a wish for gold. I'm just going to count and make sure I have the right ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Perfect. So that's going to help them remember the sentence as they're going. It gives them a visual. Jack had a wish for gold. So then you ask them, how does the sentence start? Jack. Jack had, they might remember. So they're going to sound that out. Jack, leaving a space. Had, add. Now at this point, they might forget what the sentence was. So that's where the boxes come in handy. Jack had a wish for gold. So you ask them, what's the next word? Jack had a wish. All right, so now we're going to write a wish. So they're going to sound that out. Wish. And these, they should remember the letters that go together to make that sound sh. Jack had a wish. Jack had a wish for gold. All right, so then they're going to leave a space. For is a sight word. For gold. Now this is a sight word they've learned, so they might need help if they don't remember how to spell that. And that's okay. You just help them with the words that they're struggling with. They should know that a period goes at the end, and that we start our sentence with a capital letter. And then if we have any names in sentences, they should know that those start with capital letters also. I probably wouldn't pick a sentence that has quotation marks in it. That's a little bit more difficult. And you really want them focusing on the spelling and how to sound out the words. So those are just some ideas that you can do with the papers that come home. The main, most important one is, of course, reading. Reading the story over and over, not all on the same day, but reading it throughout the week so that they get that repeated practice reading their story. You can also use it to practice phonics, highlighting words, spelling, flashcards with reading. There's a lot of things you can do with this. But they should be bringing a paper home every couple days from their reading intervention. And these are options you can do if you would like to help them with their reading at home. Happy reading, and I hope everyone has a great night.